Hunter McBride's apartment smelled like defeat and week-old Chinese takeout. He slouched at his desk, staring at the resignation letter on his computer screen, while the heavy bass from his downstairs neighbor's latest metal concert vibrated through his chair. Perfect. Another sleepless night courtesy of Metallica's biggest fans. The clock on his wall ticked past midnight. Hunter rubbed his eyes, the cursor blinking mockingly at the end of Sincerely Hunter McBride. 2 years at Sterling and Associates, and all he had to show for it was an ulcer and a boss who treated him like something scraped off the bottom of his Italian leather shoes. Just send it, he muttered, reaching for his coffee mug. Empty. Like his bank account. Like his love life since Skylar dropped the "It's not you, it's me" bomb 3 months ago. A thump echoed from his bedroom. Hunter froze. Coffee mug suspended midair. The sound came again, followed by what could only be described as rustling from inside his grandmother's antique wardrobe. Great. Rats. Because this day needed one more thing. He grabbed the baseball bat he kept by his desk, a souvenir from better days when he actually had time for hobbies, and crept toward his bedroom. The wardrobe's dark wood loomed in the corner, its surface catching the city lights filtering through his window. Another thump, louder this time, accompanied by what sounded suspiciously like cursing in a language that definitely wasn't English. Hunter gripped the bat tighter. Okay, whatever you are, you picked the wrong apartment to, The wardrobe doors burst open. Someone, tumbled out in a flash of silvery fabric and white hair, landing face first on his carpet with a muffled oof. Hunter stumbled backward, bat raised as the figure gracefully rolled to their feet, his brain short-circuited. Standing before him was a woman, a violet-skinned woman with flowing white hair and eyes that literally glowed gold. She wore what looked like liquid metal fashioned into clothing, and despite her dramatic entrance, she was smiling at him like he was the best thing she'd seen all day. "Human!" she exclaimed, her voice musical and slightly accented. "You are the one who has found me. According to the sacred traditions of my people, you are now my husband." She clapped her hands together. "We must celebrate our engagement immediately." Hunter's bat clattered to the floor. He blinked, then blinked again. What now? Oh, how rude of me!" She executed a perfect curtsy. "I am Nilari, third assistant to the Deputy Minister of Interstellar Relations for the Zeltaris Confederacy." Her smile dimmed slightly. "Well, former assistant, there was an incident involving classified documents and a rather temperamental quantum AI, and possibly an accidental declaration of war against the Proxima Centauri Trade Alliance. You're an alien? Technically, from your perspective, yes, though from mine, you're the alien." She peered around his room with obvious curiosity. "Oh, is that a primitive data viewing device?" She pointed at his laptop. "How charmingly retro." A door slammed somewhere in the hallway outside. Nilari's head snapped toward the sound, her golden eyes widening. In a blur of movement, she pressed herself against the wall beside the window, peeking through the blinds. "They couldn't have tracked me here already," she muttered. The quantum fluctuation pattern was completely random. "Who couldn't have tracked you?" "The people who want to erase my memory and make me disappear." She turned to him, her expression deadly serious. "You see, I may have accidentally discovered something I wasn't supposed to know. Something that could change the balance of power in 3 solar systems." "3 solar systems?" Hunter's voice cracked. He glanced at his half-empty beer can on the nightstand, wondering if someone had slipped something into it. "Look, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm having trouble processing—" "Oh, of course!" Nilari brightened. "You Earthlings are still adjusting to the concept of interstellar politics. Let me simplify. Bad people want secret information in my head, your wardrobe connected to my escape portal, and now we're engaged." She beamed at him. "Isn't it romantic?" Hunter ran a hand through his disheveled brown hair. That's not actually simpler." The sound of footsteps in the hallway made Nilari tense again. She moved with inhuman grace, crossing the room in 2 silent strides to press her ear against his bedroom door. The silvery fabric of her outfit rippled like mercury in the dim light. Your building's surveillance systems are quite primitive, she whispered. That's good. It means they won't have picked up my quantum signature yet. My building's what? Hunter watched as she began examining his walls with intense focus. The only surveillance here is Mrs. Davis's smart doorbell, and that's because she's convinced the delivery guys are stealing her packages. Nilari froze. Smart doorbell? Yeah, with a camera that records and uploads visual data to your planetary information network. Her golden eyes widened in horror. The one right across from your apartment? Before Hunter could respond, Nilari was already at his door, cracking it open just enough to peek into the hallway. The motion-activated lights flickered on, illuminating her distinctive features for a brief moment before she yanked the door shut. No, 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 she muttered. This is very not good. What's not good? Your neighbor's surveillance device. It most certainly captured my image. She began pacing, her white hair floating eerily as if suspended in water. And if it uploads to your internet, then... Hunter's phone buzzed, then buzzed again, and again. He pulled it from his pocket to find a stream of notifications from various social media platforms, all linking to the same post. Alien spotted in Brooklyn apartment building. Real or fake? The video, grainy but clear enough, showed Nilari's distinctive profile as she'd peeked into the hallway. The comment section was already exploding. Best cosplay ever. Someone tell Marvel their alien escaped the set lol. That's obviously CGI. Nah, that's just Hunter's new girlfriend. Boy finally cracked and ordered one of those silicone dolls. Oh God. Hunter collapsed onto his bed. This is bad. Actually, Nilari peered over his shoulder at the phone, uncomfortably close, smelling like ozone and something sweetly alien. This might work in our favor. Your species has an impressive capacity for denial. Look how quickly they're rationalizing my existence. That's not the point. If this goes viral... Viral? Is that dangerous? Should I activate my biocontainment protocols? No, it means... Hunter stopped as two new comments appeared on the video. Unlike the others, these accounts had no profile pictures or previous activity. They simply stated, location confirmed, dispatching investigation team. Nilari's playful demeanor vanished. The Federal Bureau of Alien Contact. They're faster than I expected. The what now? Your government's organization for managing extraterrestrial affairs. Very efficient, surprisingly well-funded, and... She grimaced. Unfortunately allied with certain elements within my own government who would prefer I disappear quietly. Hunter stood up, his head spinning. Okay, this is insane. I need to think. I need coffee. I need... A sharp knock at his apartment door made them both freeze. Mr. McBride? A professional female voice called out. This is Agent Brooks with the Federal Bureau of Alien Contact. We'd like to ask you a few questions about some unusual activity in your building. Nilari grabbed Hunter's arm, her grip surprisingly strong. Whatever you do, don't... Hunter? The voice softened slightly. It's me, Skylar. Can we talk? Hunter's stomach dropped. You've got to be kidding me. Your former mate? Nilari whispered, her golden eyes narrowing. The one who terminated your pair bond? How did you? I may have accessed your social media history while examining your primitive computer earlier. Very interesting documentation of your mating rituals, by the way. The selfies are particularly... Another knock, harder this time. Mr. McBride, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Nilari's expression turned serious. Hunter, listen to me. If they take me in, best case scenario, I disappear into a government facility forever. Worst case, I'm handed over to my enemies and, well, let's just say memory wiping is the gentle option. What am I supposed to do? Hunter hissed. They're federal agents. True, but a mischievous smile spread across her violet features. They have no jurisdiction over diplomatic spouses. What are you? Nilari pulled something from her silvery outfit, a small crystalline device that hummed within her light. By the power vested in me as a diplomatic representative of the Zeltaris Confederacy, and in accordance with Article 7 of the Secret Earth Alien Cooperation Treaty of 1947, I hereby claim you, Hunter McBride, as my legally recognized mate. The crystal pulsed with brilliant light. A warm, tingling sensation spread through Hunter's body, and for a brief moment, he swore he could feel something connecting him to the alien woman standing before him. There! She looked immensely pleased with herself. Now they can't legally separate us without causing an interplanetary incident. Did you just marry me? Preliminary binding only. The full ceremony requires at least 3 quantum harmonizers in a telepathic choir. She patted his cheek. Don't worry, we can do it properly once this crisis is over. The door handle jiggled. Last chance, Mr. McBride. We're coming in on the count of 3. Hunter looked at his wardrobe, then at his unexpected alien fiancée, then at the door where his ex-girlfriend was about to burst in with a team of government agents. I really should have sent that resignation letter, he muttered. ... Nilari grabbed his hand. Do you trust me? 2. I literally just met you, she grinned. That's not a no. 3. Quick, into the bathroom, Hunter whispered urgently, pushing Nilari through the door just as the FBAC agents burst into his apartment. Hunter, Skylar's familiar voice called out. We know you're here. He took a deep breath, then stepped into the living room, trying to look as casual as possible for someone who'd just hidden an alien in his bathroom. Skylar? What are you doing here at this hour? His ex-girlfriend stood in her crisp federal uniform, flanked by 2 agents. She looked exactly as he remembered, except now she was holding a badge instead of a coffee cup. We received reports of unusual activity in your building. Mind if we look around? Actually, I was just about to... A loud splash and muffled giggle came from the bathroom. Skylar raised an eyebrow. Company? Just watching TV. In the bathroom. It's a new meditation technique. Right. Skylar's eyes narrowed. And I suppose that strange purple figure on Mrs. Davis's security camera was just your TV too. In the bathroom, Nilari was apparently discovering earth plumbing for the first time. Hunter, this waterfall device is amazing, though it's much smaller than the ones in romantic shower scenes. Hunter coughed loudly to cover her voice. Would you excuse me for just one moment? He backed toward the bathroom. Nature calls. Very urgently. Must be that Chinese takeout. He slipped inside, closing the door just as Skylar ordered her agents to search the apartment. Nilari sat perched on the edge of his bathtub, looking fascinated by his rubber duck. We need to be quiet, he whispered. And why are you wet? I was researching Earth courtship rituals. She held up her phone-like device, displaying what looked like Netflix. According to these documentaries, new couples always share romantic moments in rain or water. Though your indoor waterfall is rather basic, that's a shower, and we need to focus on not getting caught. Oh, don't worry, I have the perfect solution. She began tapping on her device. According to this romantic comedy, the best way to avoid detection is to create a diversion with a romantic dinner. Nilari, no. Too late. The air in the small bathroom began to ripple, and suddenly there was a tentacle emerging from what looked like a tear in reality above his toilet. Ta-da! A genuine mood-enhancing space squid. They're considered a delicacy in the Proxima Centauri system. The tentacle was followed by several more, each one a shifting pattern of bioluminescent colors. A massive eye the size of a dinner plate blinked at them from the portal. Is that safe? Hunter asked, pressing himself against the door as one tentacle curiously poked his shower curtain. Mostly, though they can be a bit particular about proper atmosphere. The squid's eye focused on the rubber duck floating in Hunter's tub. In one lightning-fast movement, a tentacle snatched it up. Hey, that was a gift from my mom. The creature made a sound like a garbage disposal eating a fork, then spat the duck out with what could only be described as cosmic disdain. Every tentacle turned an angry red. Ah, Nilari winced. I forgot they're quite sensitive about earth-bathing implements. Hunter? Skylar's voice came through the door. What's going on in there? Everything's fine, he called back, ducking as a tentacle swung over his head. Just stomach issues. Those don't usually involve splashing and... Is that squid ink? Black liquid was indeed starting to seep under the door. The space squid had gone from offended to outraged, its tentacles now knocking over everything in the tiny bathroom. "Can't you send it back?" Hunter whispered frantically to Nilari, who was typing rapidly on her device. "Working on it, but first I should order some mood lighting to calm it down. Your Earth commerce system, Amazon, has everything." "No!" But she had already hit submit. A cheerful notification popped up. "Planetary Defense System activation request, confirmed estimated delivery, 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you for shopping with Amazon Prime, Galactic Edition." "This is a disaster," Hunter groaned, mopping up squid ink with every towel he owned, while Nilari perched on his kitchen counter, happily scrolling through her device. The FBAC agents had finally left after an extensive search. Convinced by Hunter's hasty explanation that the strange noises and ink stains were from an experimental pet octopus. Skylar hadn't looked entirely convinced, but without concrete evidence of alien activity, she had no choice but to withdraw for now. "Actually, I think it went quite well," Nilari beamed. "The mood squid only destroyed half your bathroom, and I've learned so much about Earth culture from your entertainment archives. Please tell me you're not watching more romantic comedies." "Of course not. I've moved on to diplomatic research." She held up her screen, showing what appeared to be cat videos. "I've identified your planet's true power structure. These small, furry creatures clearly control everything." Hunter paused his cleaning. "What? Think about it. They live in luxury, are weighted on hand and foot, and your internet is completely dominated by their images. Obviously, they're your secret rulers." "Those are just house cats, and I've located a high-ranking official right next door." Nilari hopped off the counter, her silver outfit catching the morning light. Mrs. Davis's companion must be at least a colonel, given his impressive whiskers. "Mr. Whiskers is not a—" But she was already heading for the door. "Wait, where are you going?" "To establish diplomatic relations, of course. According to my research, the proper offering is something called catnip and tuna." Hunter caught her arm just as she reached for the doorknob. "You can't go out there. The FBAC probably has surveillance set up." "Oh, right." She tapped her chin thoughtfully. "Then we'll have to invite him here. Through proper channels, of course." She pulled out her crystal communicator. "How do Earth cats feel about interdimensional portals?" "No more portals." Hunter ran a hand through his hair, trying to think. "Look, if you really want to meet Mr. Whiskers, we'll have to be subtle about it. Mrs. Davis lets him out on the fire escape every morning to sunbathe." Nilari's golden eyes lit up. "A secret diplomatic summit. Even better." An hour later, Hunter found himself crouched on his fire escape, watching as his alien almost wife attempted to negotiate with a very unimpressed orange tabby cat. "Most esteemed Earth Lord Whiskers," Nilari was saying solemnly, holding out a can of premium tuna, "I come seeking an alliance between our peoples." Mr. Whiskers yawned and began cleaning his paw. "She's really committed to this, huh?" Hunter nearly jumped out of his skin at the voice. Skylar stood at her window in the building across the alley, coffee mug in hand, watching the scene with an unreadable expression. "Skylar!" "I can explain." "Can you? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're harboring a fugitive alien diplomat who's trying to negotiate with a cat. When you say it like that, it sounds ridiculous." "The purple skin and golden eyes are a nice touch," Skylar continued, taking a sip of her coffee. "Very science fiction, almost as impressive as the giant squid in your bathroom earlier." "That was just an experimental pet octopus?" "Please, Hunter, we dated for 2 years. I know when you're lying." She set down her mug. "You have until tonight to turn her in. After that, I'm bringing in a full tactical team." She closed her window, leaving Hunter with a knot in his stomach. Below, Nilari was still earnestly presenting her credentials to Mr. Whiskers, who had now moved on to batting at her glowing crystal. "Success," she announced as Hunter helped her back through his window. "Earth Lord Whiskers has agreed to consider our proposal, pending additional tribute in the form of salmon and string toys." "Nilari, we have a problem. Skylar saw you." "Oh, excellent. Now we can formalize my diplomatic status and—" "No, not excellent. She's giving us until tonight before she brings in reinforcements." "Ah, Nilari's enthusiasm dimmed slightly. That does complicate things, though according to Earth Entertainment, this is the perfect setup for a dramatic chase sequence. Before Hunter could protest, a low rumbling came from his bedroom. They rushed in to find the wardrobe doors vibrating ominously. That can't be good, Hunter muttered. The portal must be destabilizing from all the recent activity, Nilari explained, studying her crystal readings. Which means the doors burst open, and out stumbled a figure that made Hunter question his sanity all over again. The wardrobe doors flew open with a flash of otherworldly light, and out tumbled what could only be described as a very drunk, very well-dressed snake in a three-piece suit. "McBride!" the creature slurred, its forked tongue flickering as it straightened its silk tie. "There you are. Been looking all over the Cassiopeia circuit for my favorite bodyguard." Hunter backed away slowly. "I think you have the wrong person." "Nonsense!" The snake man swayed, his iridescent scales catching the light. "You saved my life at the Nebula Casino last week. Or was it next week? Time gets so confusing when you're dimension hopping." "Baron Sisilk," Nilari whispered, her golden eyes wide. "One of the wealthiest trade ministers in the Serpentine Confederation, and apparently very confused about temporal continuity." The Baron draped himself over Hunter's couch, pulling a crystal decanter from his jacket. "Come, McBride. Share a drink with your old friend. This vintage was aged in a black hole for 7 centuries. Another pulse from the wardrobe interrupted him. This time, 3 figures in sleek black armor stepped out, their helmets equipped with glowing visors. "Target location confirmed," one of them announced in a metallic voice. "Seeking witness for case file 7X392, illegal distribution of classified dance moves at the Galactic Senate Ball." "Bounty hunters," Nilari groaned. "And not the good kind." The Baron perked up. "Dance moves? I know nothing about Minister Zixtal's unfortunate tango incident. Nothing at all." He attempted to slither behind Hunter, using him as a shield. "Protect me, bodyguard. That's what I'm paying you for." "You're not paying me anything. We've never met." Before the situation could escalate further, the wardrobe pulsed again. This time, a tall, spindly creature with multiple arms emerged, each limb clutching what looked like holographic catalogs. "Ah, Mr. McBride," it chittered excitedly. "So glad I found you. Your XK-9000 battle mech is ready for delivery. Just need your signature on these forms." It began spreading documents across every available surface. "The warranty is very comprehensive, covering everything from plasma damage to temporal paradoxes." Hunter turned to Nilari. "Please tell me I didn't accidentally buy a giant robot." "Well," she studied one of the forms. "According to this, you agreed to the purchase during something called a flash sale that hasn't happened yet, but will have been happening last Thursday." The bounty hunters were now arguing with the Baron about proper dance protocol, while the salesman attempted to set up a holographic display of the battle mech's features in Hunter's living room. Through it all, Nilari stayed close to his side, her presence somehow both chaos-inducing and oddly comforting. "I know this isn't exactly what you expected when you opened your wardrobe this morning," she said softly, her hand finding his. "Most humans probably wouldn't handle all this so well." Hunter looked at her, really looked at her. Beyond the violet skin and golden eyes, beyond the strange clothes and alien technology, he saw someone brave enough to flee everything she knew, smart enough to survive in a completely foreign world, and somehow still able to find joy and wonder in the absurdity of it all. "Most humans probably don't have an alien diplomat decide to marry them within 5 minutes of meeting," he replied with a small smile. "True, though technically it was 7 minutes. I wanted to make sure you were husband material first." "Oh? And what convinced you?" "You tried to fight an intruder in your wardrobe with a baseball bat," she grinned. "That showed either great courage or terrible judgment. Either way, I found it charming." Their moment was interrupted by the Baron attempting to demonstrate what he claimed was a legally distinct dance move while the bounty hunters recorded evidence. The salesman had now moved on to explaining the battle mech's optional cup holder features. "We should probably deal with this," Hunter sighed. "Probably," Nilari agreed. "Though I should warn you, my solutions tend to make things more complicated." I noticed. But you know what? I'm starting to think complicated isn't so bad. She squeezed his hand, her golden eyes sparkling. In that case, want to help me convince a drunk snake baron that you're not his bodyguard while avoiding federal agents and preventing an interdimensional robot delivery? When you put it that way, how can I refuse? Just then, the wardrobe pulsed again, and they both turned to face whatever new chaos was about to emerge. But this time, Hunter wasn't worried. Somehow, in the span of one incredibly bizarre day, hiding an alien fugitive in his apartment had started to feel like the most natural thing in the world, even if she did keep trying to negotiate with cats. All right, everyone out. Hunter surprised himself with his commanding tone. Baron, your casino's through the portal. Bounty hunters, your witness just moonwalked that way. And, sir, I'm definitely not buying a battle mech. But the financing options are very flexible, protested the salesman as Nilari expertly herded them all back toward the wardrobe. Perhaps we can discuss it next Thursday, that was, she said diplomatically, giving each visitor a gentle push through the portal. Or was it Thursday will be? Time paradoxes are so difficult in English. The Baron slithered through with a drunken wave. The bounty hunters followed their allegedly dancing quarry, and the persistent salesman finally accepted a rain check, written on what appeared to be a piece of space-time itself. As the last visitor disappeared, Hunter collapsed onto his couch. Nilari sat beside him, closer than strictly necessary, her violet skin seeming to glow in the fading evening light. You know, he said, turning to face her, for someone who claims to not understand Earth customs, you handled that like a pro. She smiled and his heart did something complicated in his chest. Diplomatic training, though I must admit, I've never had to negotiate with a drunk serpentine baron before. You were quite impressive yourself. Me? I just wanted them out before they broke anything else. Exactly. You took charge, showed authority. She leaned closer, her golden eyes twinkling. Very attractive qualities in a potential mate. Hunter became acutely aware of how close they were sitting. About that, did you really mean what you said earlier? About choosing me as husband material? Hunter McBride, she said softly, reaching up to touch his face. Her fingers were warm, sending tingles across his skin. Do you think I fall out of wardrobes into just anyone's apartment? He laughed, but it came out shaky. I hope not. That would make this a lot less special. Special? She tilted her head, studying him with those mesmerizing eyes. Is that what this feels like to you? This is the craziest day of my life, he admitted. But somehow, it also feels right. You feel right. Her smile could have lit up galaxies. Even though I summoned a space squid and tried to negotiate with a cat, especially because of that. He took her hand from his face, holding it between his own. You're the most incredible person I've ever met, human, alien, or otherwise. She moved closer still, until he could feel her breath on his lips. Then perhaps we should make this preliminary binding a bit more official? Hunter closed the remaining distance between them, and when their lips met, he swore he could see stars. Her kiss tasted like stardust and something sweetly alien, and he lost himself in it completely. When they finally parted, both slightly breathless, Nilari's eyes were glowing brighter than ever. Well, she whispered, that wasn't in any of the romance videos I studied. Better or worse? Much better. Though, she glanced toward his bedroom with an innocent expression that somehow managed to be anything but innocent. I believe Earth customs suggest we should conduct further research, for diplomatic purposes, of course. Hunter stood, pulling her up with him. For diplomatic purposes, he agreed solemnly, though he couldn't keep the grin off his face. We wouldn't want to cause an interstellar incident. Later, as they lay tangled in his sheets, Nilari's white hair spread across his pillow like starlight. Hunter realized something profound. His life had been perfectly ordinary yesterday, and he'd been miserable. Today it was filled with chaos, danger, and an alien fugitive who kept accidentally ordering advanced weapon systems on Amazon, and he'd never been happier. What are you thinking about? She asked, tracing patterns on his chest that seemed to glow faintly in the darkness. Just that when I woke up this morning, I never expected to end my day in bed with the most beautiful alien in the galaxy. She propped herself up on one elbow, her violet skin seeming to shimmer. Only the galaxy? I'll have you know I was voted most likely to cause an interplanetary incident at the Diplomatic Academy. Well, you're living up to that title. She laughed, the sound like music, before settling back against him. Hunter? I know I chose you because of tradition and circumstance at first, but I'm glad it was your wardrobe I fell into. He pulled her closer, breathing in her otherworldly scent. Me too, even if we're probably going to have to deal with FBAC agents tomorrow. Don't worry, she yawned, snuggling into his chest. I have several more Earth romance movies to study for escape strategies. Hunter groaned, but he was smiling as he drifted off to sleep, holding his impossible, wonderful alien almost wife in his arms. The dawn brought more than just sunlight through Hunter's bedroom window. It brought the sound of heavy boots in the hallway and hushed tactical commands. Hunter! Nilari's voice pulled him from sleep. She was already up, her golden eyes focused on the door. They're here. Before he could respond, his phone buzzed with a text from Skylar. Last chance to do this the easy way. Hunter looked at Nilari, violet skin glowing in the morning light, and made his decision. We're not doing this their way at all. She smiled, but it was tinged with worry. They'll have the building surrounded. Then we'll need a plan better than summoning space squids. A crash from the living room. They were breaching the outer door. Hunter pulled Nilari close, his mind racing. Your crystal thing, the one that did the preliminary binding, can it finish the job? Make it official? Her eyes widened. The full ceremony? But that would make you a diplomatic representative of your people? That's kind of the idea. Hunter, she gripped his shoulders, her voice urgent. You don't understand. There's a reason I ran. What I discovered, it's bigger than just some leaked documents. The highest levels of my government are selling weapons to species that would destroy both our worlds. If you bind yourself to me officially, you'll be a target too. The front door splintered. Footsteps entered his apartment. Hunter cupped her face in his hands. I became a target the moment you fell out of my wardrobe, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Tears like liquid gold welled in her eyes. You impossible human. She pulled out her crystal, which began to pulse with inner light. The words must be spoken in perfect synchronization. Hunter McBride, Skylar's voice called out. This is your final warning. The bedroom door handle began to turn. Nilari's crystal floated between them, its light encompassing them both. She began to speak in her native tongue, the words somehow translating themselves in Hunter's mind. He spoke with her, their voices becoming one. Through space and time, through stars and void, two paths now joined, two fates employed. What cosmos split, we now make whole. One heart, one mind, one binding soul. The door burst open as the crystal flared with blinding light. When it faded, Hunter and Nilari stood hand in hand, facing a room full of FBAC agents with raised weapons. By the power of the Galactic Diplomatic Code, Nilari announced, her voice ringing with authority, I present Hunter McBride, fully recognized representative of the Zeltaris Confederation. And, Hunter added, pulling a data crystal from his pocket, one he'd slipped from the drunk Baron's jacket the day before. Key witness in the case against certain members of the Zeltaris government regarding illegal weapons sales to hostile species. Skylar lowered her weapon slowly. You're bluffing. Am I? Hunter held up the crystal. Because I think the Baron's personal records might disagree. Amazing what people will let slip when they think you're their bodyguard. A new voice crackled over the FBAC radios. Stand down. Diplomatic immunity protocols in effect. The targets are now under interstellar protection. Skylar looked from Hunter to Nilari, then back to Hunter. You actually married her. Technically, he grinned, squeezing Nilari's hand. This was our third ceremony. The first one involved a wardrobe, the second involved some interesting alien biology, and this one just saved both our worlds. And gave me the best husband in the galaxy, Nilari added, beaming, even if he still doesn't appreciate the diplomatic importance of cats. As the FBAC agents reluctantly withdrew, Skylar lingered in the doorway. You know this isn't over. There will be investigations, hearings. Of course, Hunter nodded. But first, I believe my wife and I have a honeymoon to plan. I hear the rings of Saturn are lovely this time of year. Actually, Nilari chimed in, I was thinking somewhere more adventurous. How do you feel about the Andromeda galaxy? Looking at her radiant smile, Hunter knew he'd follow her anywhere in the universe, even if it meant dealing with more space squids. 2 weeks later, Hunter found himself standing before the Galactic Council, or rather their holographic projections, which filled the renovated warehouse that served as Earth's unofficial alien embassy. Beside him, Nilari looked resplendent in her formal diplomatic attire, though he caught her sneaking glances at him in his new ambassador's uniform. The evidence is irrefutable, the council elder announced, their multifaceted eyes scanning the data crystals floating before them. The weapons sales to the Void Dominion represent a clear violation of interstellar law. Hunter stepped forward, no longer intimidated by the array of alien dignitaries. The Baron's records confirm everything my wife discovered. The corruption went straight to the top of the Zeltaris government. And you obtained these records during an impromptu diplomatic summit in your apartment? Another council member asked, their tentacles rippling with barely concealed amusement. The Baron was very forthcoming after his 7th Martian whiskey, Nilari explained diplomatically, though he still insists Hunter is his personal bodyguard. The council chambers erupted in a cacophony of alien laughter. Even Skylar, standing as Earth's FBAC representative, cracked a smile. In light of these revelations, the elder continued, this council grants full political asylum to diplomatic agent Nilari and her Earth consort. Furthermore, the unusual portal in their possession is hereby designated as an official emergency diplomatic channel. Though perhaps, another council member added dryly, with better security protocols, we can't have every intoxicated noble in the galaxy stumbling into Earth apartments. Later that evening, Hunter and Nilari stood in their new diplomatic residence, a spacious apartment overlooking Central Park, complete with the infamous wardrobe installed in pride of place. So, Hunter wrapped his arms around his wife, still amazed at how perfectly she fit against him. How does it feel to be officially Earth's first alien refugee? Wonderful. She traced the new diplomatic insignia on his chest. Though I'm more interested in how it feels to be Earth's first human-alien ambassador couple. Well, the benefits are pretty amazing, he kissed her softly. Though we might need to do something about our unexpected visitors. As if on cue, the wardrobe doors creaked open, and a confused-looking alien tourist wearing a Hawaiian shirt and carrying 3 cameras peered out. Excuse me, it chirped in broken English. Is this the observation deck of the Empire State Building? Nilari laughed, the sound still making Hunter's heart skip. 3rd door on the left through the portal, just past the quantum fluctuation zone. Thank you, your planet is very lovely, though your cats are surprisingly unresponsive to diplomatic overtures. After the tourist disappeared back through the portal, Hunter turned to his wife. You know, when I was complaining about my boring life a few weeks ago, I didn't exactly expect all this. Disappointed? Nilari's golden eyes sparkled with mischief. Are you kidding? He pulled her closer. I got to help expose a galactic conspiracy, become an interstellar diplomat, and marry the most beautiful alien in the universe. Though we should probably put a no squid summoning rule in the new apartment. Agreed, though I make no promises about the cats. I still think Mr. Whiskers would make an excellent cultural attaché. As they kissed, the stars visible through their window seemed to shine a little brighter, as if approving of this unlikely union between a former office worker and his alien diplomat wife. Somewhere in the city below, Mr. Whiskers was probably plotting interstellar domination. The Baron was likely still convinced Hunter was his bodyguard, and the wardrobe would definitely bring more lost tourists. But for now, in this moment, everything was perfect. I love you, Hunter murmured against her lips. Even if you did turn my life into a sci-fi romantic comedy. I love you too, Nilari smiled. Even if you still can't pronounce my homeworld's name correctly. I'm working on it, though maybe we should focus on planning that honeymoon first. The wardrobe creaked again, but this time, they just laughed and ignored it. After all, they had all the time in the universe to deal with whatever chaos came next. 1 month later, a lazy Sunday morning dawned over New York City. Hunter rolled out of bed, His new diplomatic pajamas, a gift from the Andromeda ambassador, shimmering slightly in the morning light. He glanced at his phone. 3 missed calls from the Baron, still convinced Hunter was his bodyguard, and a formal complaint from Mr. Whiskers about the quality of his diplomatic cat food. Just another day in the life of Earth's first human-alien ambassador. The wardrobe stood in its usual spot, now sporting various official seals and a small digital panel showing current portal coordinates. Hunter approached it, running his hand over the worn wood that had somehow become the center of his new life. "Laurie, you in there?" The doors swung open with their familiar creak. Nilari emerged in what appeared to be her latest Earth fashion discovery, a gossamer-thin robe that left very little to the imagination, the fabric shifting between shades of starlight with her every movement. Her violet skin seemed to glow from within, and her golden eyes held that particular sparkle that usually meant she was planning something. Yes, darling." She stretched languidly, the robe doing interesting things that momentarily short-circuited Hunter's brain. "I was just reviewing some honeymoon destinations. Did you know there's a resort inside a nebula where the clouds taste like cotton candy?" Hunter fought to keep his focus as she sauntered toward him. "Please tell me this doesn't involve any more space squids." "Only the decorative kind." She wrapped her arms around his neck. "Though if you prefer, we could always visit that nice black hole beach resort. Time dilation means we could have a 3-week honeymoon in just 5 Earth minutes." Hunter took a deep breath, looking at his incredible alien wife and their impossible life together. "I'm really in deep here, aren't I?" Her answering smile could have lit up galaxies. "Darling, you haven't seen deep until you've been to the crystal caves of Betelgeuse, which, by the way, is stop number 3 on our itinerary." And as the morning sun painted New York in gold, Hunter McBride realized he wouldn't have it any other way. Dear listeners, Hunter and Nilari's story is more than just a tale of an alien falling through a wardrobe. It's about how life's most extraordinary adventures often begin in the most ordinary moments. Sometimes all it takes is opening a door, or in this case, a peculiar piece of furniture, to find yourself embarking on the journey of a lifetime. Their story reminds us that love doesn't care about planetary boundaries or diplomatic protocols. It can bloom between an unremarkable office worker and a violet-skinned alien diplomat just as easily as between anyone else. Sometimes the craziest decisions, like marrying someone who literally fell into your life, turn out to be the wisest ones we ever make. Would you like to hear more about Hunter and Nilari's adventures? Perhaps their interstellar honeymoon escapades? Or how they navigate life as Earth's first human-alien diplomatic couple? There are still so many stories to tell about their cosmic travels, diplomatic mishaps, and the continuing saga of Mr. Whisker's political ambitions. Let me know if you'd like to join them on their next adventure. After all, there's always room for more passengers through that mysterious wardrobe portal. Just watch out for the occasional space squid. What would you like to see in their next chapter? Sincerely, your storyteller, Sci-Fi Lore Vault.